Hello and welcome to another weekly update and feeding of our to harvest or not to harvest bins. I took the lids off, have the food ready, and we can do our check-in here. I have the shop light that's very bright, resembles the sun, but it's not. It's just the light, and it gives one bin a little bit brighter lighting than the one next to it, but it's turned off once I finish filming, so it doesn't matter. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. I have been moving the bins around, so every day I switch them around. So one is here, the other one is there, then they rotate. That way, if there's any issues whatsoever with one being a bit more moist than the other, so that should take care of that issue. But the bedding, it feels good. So this is our to harvest. This is the bin that we're going to harvest. I marked it already on the lid, and that way when I move them around, I won't get confused. But there's still quite a bit of bedding left, so I'm not going to harvest it just yet. But it feels really, really nice. A lot of castings. Everything is really nice and crumbly. And the bin smells wonderful. So this is where we fed last week. Good job, guys. So they took care of the food. Okay. So for those of you who are wondering about springtails, these little guys over here, they're also attracted to wet cardboard. So if you wanted to bait them out, you could easily do that by placing a nice wet piece of cardboard and then taking it out and either disposing of it completely or washing it down with a hose and putting it back in the bin. Springtails tend not to bother me as much anymore, since they also have a role to play in the composting system. But when their numbers get a bit out of control, I tend to bait them out with avocado or with these cardboard pieces. You can see how attracted they are to the wet cardboard. So same thing here. It looks nice and rich and dark. And I do see babies. The worms are healthy here, they're happy. And of course, this is going to be the bin that we are not going to harvest. I'm just going to leave it alone and see which works better to increase the population of the worms. When you harvest the bin regularly, or let it go for a while. So a lot of worms right here next to the food source. This is what we fed last week. And lots of worms, of course, in that area. Right, guys? Happy, happy, happy. And I'm not seeing cocoons, but you know what? I am seeing a ton of babies, so I know the cocoons are in there somewhere. Okay, so let's feed these guys up. I'm gonna pick a spot. Pick a spot, any spot. Oh, we can go here. In this corner. And do the same thing here in this corner. We have our food measured out here, exactly the same. So let's keep them feeding. This is some berries, all kinds of different berries. These guys eat better than we do. It's already got eggshell sprinkled on it, so I'm gonna cover that up. And we're gonna mark it. And we'll do the same thing here. Up. So great. These guys are doing a good job. The bins look healthy, thriving. So that's another week. And we will leave them alone. I'm going to make sure to put the bin where I marked that it's the harvest bin so I don't confuse them. And that's it. Thanks for joining me and see you next week.